Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles the Band. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. I want to give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. So today we got a very interesting show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel here. So there's a show that we produced last week on Jalen Rose. They did pretty well. A lot of people liked it. But as you guys know, Jalen used to work at ESPN. And Jalen Rose was amongst the people that were let go of back, I think, in 2023, I believe. This shocked a lot of people. I think that year, I think it was 2023 or 22, one of those years, they got rid of Jalen Rose, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, I think Max Kellerman, and a whole bunch of people. They were just essentially cord cutting. They were trying to reduce the cost at the network, and people like Jalen Rose got the axe. But since then, some big names have remained and gotten huge contracts. One of them is Pat McAfee, who signed an $85 million ESPN deal, if my memory serves me right. And in the most recent contract, the biggest one, is the Stephen A. Smith contract, where he signed $100 million working for ESPN. So this weekend, there was a clip from Cris Carter's podcast that's been going pretty viral here. And the name of the podcast is called Fully Loaded, right? Fully Loaded. And they were talking about a bunch of different things. But one of them came from a fan, because I believe there's a Q&A segment in the show where they read what fans have to ask Cris. And one of them asked him to talk about what it's like, or what it was like working on ESPN and the major networks. And what he said, man, I thought was something that we could use today to edify the audience, and could be something very interesting to talk about, because I have a few thoughts and opinions on it. But before we can get into what Cris Carter had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is a daily fantasy app where you pick more or less on player stat projections. And if you get your pick right, you could cash in. Right now, they're giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. For example, this week I'm picking Victor Wembanyama for 35 points, and I'm also picking Stephen Curry to hit 4 threes. It's always very exciting and gets me all more amped watching the game. Make sure to check if PrizePicks is available in your state today. It probably is. They are available in 50 states. They also just dropped early payouts, so if your player gets off to a hot start, you can cash out before the game even finishes. Pick from all your favorite sports, anything from basketball, baseball, hockey, UFC, soccer, college basketball, tennis, golf, esports, and more. And with the new social feeds feature, you can share PrizePicks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. Copy lineups you like or use them as inspiration for your own picks. Download the PrizePicks apps today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks is good to be right. All right, cool. So what I want to do is I want to play what Cris Carter had to say here, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to his comments.
Yeah. David Newsom, 2962. This dude, CC, how is he currently not on national television? Shameful.
Because I don't want to be.
He'd rather be on Fully Loaded, bro.
Well, this is the thing. National TV is in New York or LA. There's not a lot of shows. If you look at it, I've already worked for Fox. They only got a couple little shows, you know? ESPN, I've already worked for ESPN. There's no going back there. There's no need to go back there.
You're good.
And if you look at most of the people that ESPN is hiring now outside of Randy Moss, they're all like journeyman guys. Like they don't, they're hiring practices, and the economics of it are totally different. Like,
they're hard to listen to, I can tell you that, from my perspective.
Now the pay in TV is like doing radio.
Really?
Yeah, it's not what it, yes.
Ooh.
Yes, that's what it is.
Okay. Ooh.
So when you see the faces, it's not like the faces they hire for NBC. You know, you get Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Reggie. Man, they got some people.
Yeah, they're paying them.
They're
paying them.
They are paying them.
They ain't going to ESPN for that money.
No, ESPN, Barkley, yep, Shaq and them, Stephen A, yes. But
everybody else.
ESPN's philosophy, business-wise, is pay the Eagles, starve the turkeys.
Wow.
They told me that.
For real.
Pay the Eagles.
Starve the turkeys.
Starve.
The turkeys know they're turkeys?
Oh, they know.
They know.
If you're doing Sports Center, they know. Like, it's not Rich Eisen, the Sports Center. Like, it's not like these guys are leapfrog coming off that show on the... No.
They're going to be doing that for a long time because they're turkeys.
Well, that's their philosophy.
That's what I'm saying. So they're doing it to stay relevant because they ain't for the money.
Well, most of them, if you're doing Sports Center, you're trying to use that as a stepping stone to go way up. Sports Center is not the stage it used to be.
Crazy.
Yeah. Look at the names on there. You don't know any of those people.
I don't know them either.
Hannah Storm does it every once in a while.
When I turn it on, I can't see. And I don't even like...
And the news is it's already late.
Very.
Like everybody, like...
It ain't entertaining.
Well, the thing, too, they used to have the highlights. Like, the only place you can get the highlights. But now you've already seen them.
You can get them anywhere you want.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Just a little insight. That's what they say.
Okay.
That's their philosophy.
You ain't, even if you're an Eagle, you're staying in Southern Florida, so you ain't worried about it. Yeah. You ain't going nowhere.
Excellent. So you heard what Cris had to say. What are my thoughts about this? I think, first of all, he's correct that they're paying the bigger guys the most money. If you look at it from a business standpoint, strategically, if you want to kind of cut costs, you can get rid of older, more senior staff members, bring in younger people and pay them less to do the same job and then have them grow in that position. Because usually those guys warrant those salaries because of also their experience and their tenure, right? But if you have a newcomer, a younger person that's more eager to get into the door, you could pay them to do that job. They may not have the name recognition that the person had that was outgoing, but they'll be willing to take that role and grow in it, and then you pay them less, and then ultimately you pay them more in the future. You have that, right? So that's one aspect, looking at it from a business standpoint. But in terms of them paying the big wigs, but that's what it is now. I think the sports media landscape is shifted again. About a year or two ago, it was shifting in one direction where you were seeing a lot of podcasts, getting a lot of big podcast deals from various companies, sports books, other companies like that, like Barstools and all of that. I think a lot of those contracts have gone away, or if they've not gone away, I think they've been consolidated for a select few podcasts. It's no longer that. In terms of television, well, a lot of these guys that you see on TV, even though they're fighting, they're not getting that much money compared to what some other guys are making. They're willing to be the turkeys, so to speak. They're willing to be paid less money. I'll give you a number that shocked me. I found out that Kendrick Perkins earns $700,000 from what I heard. I could be wrong. Working for ESPN. I was stunned by that. I literally was stunned by that. I thought, Kendrick Perkins, man, you're on Get Up, you're on ESPN, you're over here. I would have thought Kendrick Perkins was earning millions working on ESPN, given the amount of money that they make. I'm talking about the network. I was even surprised to hear how much Molly Karam was making. And I remember we did a show about it. Somebody was saying, Charles, it's $500,000 not a lot. I will never say $500,000 is not a lot. But if you look at the money that these companies make versus what they're paying their staff, it's a joke. And then it's not like I said they don't have money. They have money. Look at the bigger names that they're willing to pay. Of course they have money. You think, and I'm sure some of the younger people, the guys earning less, saw them like, but damn. But I was surprised to see it. But then again, I'm not. It's a different game. And I think the reason why, even though these guys are not paying these astronomical numbers, but you still see people clamoring to be on TV, is because once they get off of TV, most of them can't survive, man. Most of them can only survive off the fact that they're on TV. For whatever reason, you're deemed to be more important when you're on TV. There's like a way that people view you once you're on TV versus when you're off TV. And some of these guys can't transition over. Very few can, where you can go from being on TV and being relevant there, then you're no longer there and you're now in independent space and you're still there are very few people that can do that. Very, very few. Most of them are floundering. So it's not it's no surprise. But it's a tough world out here. You know, it's a tough world. And if you have something that's working, try to make it work. You know, try to make it work. These dollars are not easy to come by. They're not. And forget about these big contracts you see people getting. That's not the norm. It is not the norm. Those massive, it's not the norm. You know, if you look at the NBA space, now it's usually NBA players that are getting all of the big podcast money and all of this stuff. And I think it's great. I mean, good for them, whatever. You know, it's their sport, whatever. But it's the way the things are changing. You know what I mean? Things are changing. And I've always said it, I would never want to be on TV. At least not as a sports person. Hell no. Because I know I won't be able to be myself. So I would never want to be on TV. I thought about it, but one day, I don't care. One day, no. Maybe for something else, but not for this. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.